On behalf of Hon'ble Minister of Electronics and IT, Railways, Information and Broadcasting, Secretary Meti, I welcome all the media colleagues from the audio and the visual media. This particular press conference has been called to announce and launch the notification for the mobile phone manufacturing scheme, which was approved by the Cabinet a few days ago. Without much further ado, I would request Honorable Secretary to give a brief presentation on the essential features of the scheme.
Secretaries by definition are not honorables. As you're aware, the Cabinet approved the mobile phone manufacturing scheme about a month ago, and we are today launching the scheme and issuing the notification relating to the scheme. Again, we are fairly clear that electronics manufacturing is a must-have as far as an Atmanirbhar Bharat is concerned, simply because electronics today constitutes the largest single manufacturing sector across the globe. And India, as the largest country and with a very large market, needs to be self-reliant to a significant extent in electronics. And it is also a matter of strategic interest because practically every major device that we use today is something which is electronics based, and our domestic consumption, of course, is increasing tremendously. And in terms of manufacturing, it is also a very clean industry in a number of ways, and therefore those clean factories represent an aspirational place where the youth of the country can work. And some of the largest factories in the country today are electronics manufacturing factories. So I think that is where this particular sector takes considerable significance. And in the last 12 years or so, we've seen significant production. It's grown 7% with a CAGR of 19% over this period. Electronics exports have grown 11 times with a CAGR of 24%. Mobile production has grown 33 times with a CAGR of 37%. And mobile exports have grown 166 times from a situation where about 70 to 75% of the mobile phones sold in the country were imported in 2014-15 to a situation where we are a big net exporter of mobile phones in the current year. So it has grown 166% with a CAGR of 59%. As you're well aware, India is the second largest mobile phones manufacturer in the world, and practically every mobile phone that's sold in India is now made in India. Now, the contribution of the electronics, especially mobile phones, to the electronics ecosystem is also extremely significant. What it has done is raise the ranking of electronics on all export categories to the third position out of the ninth. And smartphones last year were the single largest exported item from India. And about 10 years ago, they were not even in the top 100 list. So today they are the largest single exported item. In addition, as a share in manufacturing, it has gone up from about 10% to about 48% of entire electronics manufacture. And as a share of electronics exports, they are almost 61%. But more than all of that, I think the most important and significant element is the opportunity that they represent because they are an advanced manufacturer, because there is so much of precision involved in manufacture of mobile phones, and most of it is so miniaturized. The rest of the ecosystem eventually will depend on our strength and our prowess in the mobile phone manufacturing system. Our neighbors' entire prowess in electronics manufacturing, in some sense, also grew when they became a large mobile phone manufacturer. And if you look at, as I already said, the electronics exports are the third largest category currently, and it's about 11% of total exports currently. It was just about 1.7% in 2014-15. In addition, the PLI scheme for large-scale electronic manufacture, which is how the first scheme was known, has been one of the most successful amongst all PLI schemes. The overall investment was expected to be 7,000 crore. It was almost 3 times that amount at almost 21,000 crore. The overall production was expected to be 8,12,550 crore. Under the scheme, the production was 11,61,581 crore. And exports were expected to be 4,87,530 crore. They ended up being 6,43,323 crore. And employment was expected to be, additional employment was expected to be 2 lakh. Directly, it's already touched 1,69,000, and 1 or 2 of the manufacturing units are yet to reach full capacity. And when they do, we will comfortably exceed that target as well. So in that sense, it's been a significantly successful job. Overall, mobile phone manufacturing supports about 12 lakh jobs in the country. Average wages in the mobile phone ecosystem increased to about 2.4 lakhs per annum in FY 24-25. And at that level, it represents a fairly substantial income. There's been a substantial investment in the ecosystem, including downstream ecosystem and upstream ecosystem. And major EMS and component manufacturers grew to almost 40 in the country. More and more companies have come up. And we've had more than 135 tier 2, tier 3 suppliers integrated with GVCs. And I cannot but emphasize how important that is, because it really expands the manufacturing ecosystem in the country. And domestic value addition has increased from about 15% when this scheme started to about 23% currently. So it has been a substantial deepening. And we are confident that our goal of doubling the overall domestic value addition from about 18 to 20% to about 35 to 40% will get achieved in the coming days. And if you see the geographical spread of how the mobile manufacturing ecosystem has grown, from just about 2 units in 2014, it grew fairly substantially by 2020. There was a wider spread, and you can see there was also a diversification, and many new brands came up. And as you can see, it has become a much more crowded ecosystem by 2026. And you've had a number of new companies who are also constantly entering the fray, including many Indian EMS and other component manufacturing companies. And they are now spread almost everywhere across the country. These are some of the large facilities coming up. What you can see, this is near Bangalore, near Tumkur. What you can see there are residential accommodation for the workers on the left-hand side, those multi-story buildings. And this is at Narsapur near Kolar. They employ about 26,000 workers at any given point in time. This is at Hosur, near Hosur in Tamil Nadu. It employs, again, roughly about 25,000. And why is this industry so important? I think technology and skill transfer enables multiple new sectors across the ecosystem. And that is the possibility that this holds. If you look at it, this entire set of newer things which can happen as a result of where the mobile technology can take us. It helps us in laptops, game consoles. It helps us in drone manufacture, medical devices. Various components get used there. Likewise, the covering glass, so on, can be used in a range of other uses, including tablets, smartwatches, and automobile windshields. The OLED display, currently being used exclusively in mobile phones, will become more useful in TVs, laptops, automobiles, and so on. And likewise, the microelectronic mechanical system, like microphones, become very important in terms of speakers, which are used in a range of operations. And the camera module stacks, these can then be used in a range of other applications as well. So the component ecosystem then lays the foundation for a range of other products which can then be made in the country. And even if newer products emerge, having this production base in the country, having the ability to manufacture mobile phones means that we can switch over to newer products much more easily in whenever they come up. Just to quickly run through the details of the scheme, the objective of the mobile phone manufacturing scheme is to increase global competitiveness and further enhance the scale, and also to deepen the supply chain and increase domestic value addition. In addition, one of the key objectives is also to ensure that we build Indian mobile brands and build their presence in the market. The total budget outlay for the program is 62,500 crore. The scheme tenure is 5 years up to 2030-31, starting from 1st April of the current year up to 2030-31. There are two target segments. One is for mobile phone manufacturing itself, and other is to support Indian mobile phone brands. The incentive structure is slightly different from the earlier scheme. There's a differentiated incentive which ranges from 2.25% to 5%. This is basically to push for scale and make sure that more manufacture takes place. Likewise, Indian brands, there is a 5% incentive. Then there is an additional incentive to which companies will be eligible based on 1.5% on domestic sourcing of key components. Given that many key components are getting made increasingly in India, the idea is to incentivize their usage, and therefore, in a way, we are bringing, and unlike in the earlier scheme, there is a specific incentivization of domestic sourcing. Then there's an additional incentive of 3% on Indian design and R&D for Indian brands. This is to actually build the full stack bottom up in this particular segment. The additional incentive on localization is further broken up into those components where we believe Indian capacities are growing, which we have supported through a variety of other initiatives. So display modules, camera modules, mechanics, battery cells, USB cables and chargers. So that these become targeted and we are able to identify the way that the value addition has been contributed from domestic sources. It also makes for easier implementation of the scheme when the sourcing is clearly identified. Part of it is also as ease of doing business, make it as easy to implement as possible without disputes later on. Now, for Indian brands to make them global, we are trying to look at technological sovereignty, the strategic autonomy, which we are striving for all the time, capture greater economic value, and also to build our own products and intellectual property. Making India a product nation is very much a key objective of METI, and therefore that continues to be an important objective we pursue through this scheme as well. The overall expected outcomes of the scheme to reach an ultimate production volume of 39 lakh crores cumulative. Currently, when the previous scheme ended, the total volume of production was 22 lakh crore. Mobile exports to reach about 15 lakh crore, which will be another big achievement compared to it is almost doubling of what we did last time. Direct jobs to generate 60,000 direct jobs in this sector as part of this expansion. And so these are broadly the outcomes we expect from the scheme. And this is, we are launching it now. And as I said, it is operational from the current fiscal year onwards. Thank you very much.
All right, questions?
Yes, MPMS mobile phone manufacturing scheme is formally launched today. With effect from 1st April. 1st April 2026. It's a continuous open application. Systematically we'll go from that side, left hand side to right hand side. First row complete karo.
Questions?
Rasool, standing committee.
So will there be breakup of, will there be any bifurcation in the scheme, given there are two parts of the scheme? Target segment one, target segment two.
Fungible.
అయినది లేదు ఎంఆర్ది లేదు
Practically, mobile phone production cumulative, which was about 22 lakh crore, will be doubling in this period. It will go up to 40 lakh crore. That's a big thing. And as you know, last year, smartphone as a category, as a product, was the largest exported item out of India. That position will be retained, that position will be further strengthened. Electronics manufacturing became the third largest category. That will also get sustained now with all these initiatives.
Hi, sir. Danish from Money Control. The government says that the scheme supports the Indian brands to go global. So a lot of Indian companies which are currently making phones for the domestic market are they're facing the fund problem. They don't have enough sufficient funds to invest in the IPs. Is there a mechanism to support develop new IPs?
That is precisely the TS2. TS2 target segment 2 is for supporting Indian IP, Indian designed, Indian brand. That's a fundamental initiative. It's a very ambitious initiative, but we have taken in consultation with the industry. If you recall, we had a mobile manufacturing ecosystem, but because of the tax issues and because of the Chinese onslaught, it became impossible for them to compete in the market. Now that we have been able to establish the ecosystem back in our country, time has come when we should be now focusing on developing Indian brand, Indian IP, Indian design. That is the thought process, and I think we'll be taking very measured, very calibrated steps on that. We are very closely coordinated with the industry, and we hope that in the tenure of this mobile phone manufacturing scheme, we'll have a good success on the having Indian brands.
Sir, Rishabh with NDTV Profit. We're also looking at non-fiscal measures to support Indian brands. Could you give us some color on what these non-fiscal measures could look like?
We'll share as we go.
No, that side, anybody? Yeah. Okay.
Sir, from Hon'ble, sorry, you couldn't see me. I'm sitting behind. Just wanted to understand, this scheme is launched, but right now what Indians are facing is the high rise in the mobile prices because of the chip shortage. So what's government doing about it, and if something can be done about the industry about that? Because middle class families especially are not able to afford those phones, which has gone by 50-20% price in their prices over the last 6 months.
As we manufacture more and more memory chips, the Micron plant is basically manufacturing memory chips. As we manufacture more memory chips in India, things will change. And it's a global phenomenon, of course, because the demand for AI data center, demand for memory in the AI data center is driving the rise in prices for memory. But there are so many players who are increasing their capacity in memory production. So like all business cycles, this will also stabilize.
सर राजीव दैनिक जागरण से सर ये पीएलआई स्कीम से कैसे डिफरेंट है बिकॉज ये भी प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाने पे ही है और क्या इसमें एक्सपोर्ट के लिए भी इंसेंटिव को जोड़ा जाएगा जैसा कि पीएलआई में था और दूसरा सवाल है सर कि अभी ये 62,500 करोड़ है इसका कुछ ब्रेकअप है और 10,000 करोड़ जैसे अगर आप जो पार्ट्स बना रहे हैं हमारे या तो छोटी कंपनियां तो तभी आएंगी ना सर जब उनका टर्नओवर कम वाले भी इसमें एलिजिबल होते आपने 10,000 करोड़ रखा है मिनिमम एलिजिबिलिटी तो
देखो मोबाइल फोन का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जो इकोसिस्टम है एक मोबाइल फोन में करीब करीब 1,000 पार्ट्स होते हैं 1,000 के आसपास कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं डिफरेंट उसका वो चार्ट निकालना जिसमें सारा देश का नक्शा दिखता है हाँ ये अगर आप चार्ट देखोगे ये 2026 का चार्ट है इस चार्ट में आपको बहुत क्लियरली दिखाई देता है कि भारत में मोबाइल और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के कंपोनेंट का इकोसिस्टम बहुत वाइड स्प्रेड हो गया है और उसमें मैक्सिमम एमएसएमईज है
शेयर
मैक्सिमम ये जो प्रोडक्शन के कंपोनेंट प्रोडक्शन के इसमें इकोसिस्टम आप देख रहे हो, मैक्सिमम एमएसएमईज है। एमएसएमई और फाइनल प्रोडक्ट्स के बीच में पूरा एक वैल्यू चेन का रिलेशन है। उस तरीके से एक चीज डेवलप हो रही है। ये नहीं केवल एक प्योरली प्रोडक्शन बेस था, इसमें डोमेस्टिक वैल्यू के लिए अलग से, डोमेस्टिक वैल्यू एडिशन के लिए अलग से रखा गया है, और साथ ही साथ इंडियन ब्रांड को डेवलप करने के लिए, इंडियन आईपी को डेवलप करने के लिए, इंडियन डिजाइन को डेवलप करने के लिए अलग से प्रोविजन रखे गए।
Hi, sir. On the right. Hi, sir. So two questions. One is based on your conversations with the local brands, how soon do you think that applications and operations are actually going to start? Because we do have a few brands that are not hitting that 25% threshold but want to get there. So that's number one. Number two is the notification mentions that there is a process for the empowered committee to recommend non-fiscal support measures. So can you tell us what the non-fiscal support measures are? Is this land assistance?
Non-fiscal support measures will announce as we go, as I said in the previous question. Timelines, already the companies are manufacturing, and we have said that this scheme basically kicks in from 1st April of this year. This fiscal year, FY 26-27. So from 1st April 2026, the scheme becomes effective. So that way there is a continuity of the previous program, so that all the hard work which the sector has done so far also gets accounted for. The new brands, the new Indian brand industry is working on it. There is a lot of discussion going on between various players in the entire ecosystem, whether it is the brand designers, the component designers, the design of the full phone, the design of the entire the PCB assembly. All those things are right now, that is work in progress. And as soon as something comes up, we'll definitely inform you.
Congratulations, sir. Jasvi from Financial Express. So there have been reports lately that Pixel, as part of the China Plus strategy, might move into countries like India and Vietnam. One, do you see this, sir, as an imperative to rev up the entire smartphone manufacturing ecosystem, like what Apple did when it came to India? And do you see companies like those are applying for the manufacturing scheme?
From our perspective, there are 2 points which are very important. First point is the employment potential of this entire sector. Huge employment potential. Total employment in electronics manufacturing is now 25 lakh plus. Second is the spin-off effects of electronics sector. As one of the charts was showing, one of the charts was showing, the competencies which are developed in mobile phone and electronics manufacturing, they immediately get transferred to many other sectors. For example, if the LED display, that will go into automobiles, that will go into smartwatches, that will go into laptops, TVs, many segments that will be used, the same display capability. For example, the mechanical part of it, mechanical will go into multiple sectors. For example, battery, it is shown, battery will go into drones, into medical devices, EV modules, pump banks, multiple sectors it will be serving. So the multiplier effect of electronics and smartphone manufacturing is significant. So that's why we are continuously focusing, one, because of electronics, electronics being a very employment intensive industry. Second, the multiplier impact in many other sectors.
So how much value addition you are expecting by the items?
As I've said, the highest value addition which one of the countries achieved over a period of 4 decades is 38 to 40%. We have already crossed 25 to 28% band, and we think the way the entire program is structured, this will significantly improve in this MPMS period.
Sir, there was a news report earlier this week which talked about Google shifting its manufacturing base out of China. Do you think that India could be one of the major manufacturing hub for Google to start exporting?
और कहाँ जाएंगे यार?
So Vietnam is also one of the hubs where they make.
We have multiple advantages. One advantage is, of course, the policy certainty. Second advantage is the design capabilities. Our country has very significant design capabilities. In our GCCs, in our tech centers, in our engineering centers, we have huge amount of talent for design. So people are looking at a very sustained growth of electronics and mobile phone manufacturing in India. And that kind of ecosystem and that kind of runway, no other country offers that India offers.
So one add-on question. A lot of this slide says that a lot of components go into laptops, iPad, tablets and all. Do we expect Apple to go beyond phones and start making iPads and Macs in India with the push schemes? Okay. Thank you.
Sir.
Hi, very good afternoon, sir. So just a couple of questions. Number one, when you talk of the graded incentive mechanism that is there as a part of this PLI, is that geared to maybe for greater exports? Because I was just reading there's an eligibility criteria that needs to be cleared to be eligible for the higher incentive. Is that the push that you were looking for to give for the exports?
Make more in India.
For the world?
For the world, for India, of course, but make more in India. That's important because that means more employment, that means more taxes, that means much deeper ecosystem.
And this is one question on the Indian champion that you're looking for. Do you see that emerging from the existing bouquet of players, or do you see a new player emerging courtesy this incentive that you give?
How many Indian companies can come up by the end of this?
सर बाद में कुछ छापना है ना, एक ही बार में सारा.
Sir, hi, sir, Ankit. Sorry. So here, Sir Ashish from Business Standard. Sir, under TS2, you are trying to create a new Indian mobile phone brand. Could you sort of explain or which? I mean,
Everybody's asking about this, so let me take this question head on. See, as I said, to have an Indian brand, we need the following inputs in it. First, Indian design. Two, that design has to be Indian owned. Three, the brand has to be Indian owned. Four, the manufacturing ecosystem. The manufacturing ecosystem is in place now already. That entire ecosystem is right now, we have it. Design, we have asked multiple players, to be precise, 3 players, to come up with design options. The challenge we have given them is the design has to match the best in your segment. It cannot be a design which cannot compete with the best in your segment. Segments that are there in the mobile phone industry are segments which are economy segments, then there are premium segments, then there are super premium, then there is a very high value mobile phone. So there are basically 4 segments normally seen in the smartphone. We are asking the industry which segment you would be comfortable with. Their point is that we would like to play in a segment which has very high volume. Because once we have the volume, then we can really have a sustained play, sustained production and a sustained market going forward. So the industry has to now take the final call. They have to come up with the design and prove that the IP is their own. It is not just a copy of somebody else. It's very important to have the IP Indian owned by that company, and we are going to be very particular, very meticulous in evaluating that. As you know, in each and every meeting with the industry, we always force them to have their design capability, make sure that it is Six Sigma quality, make sure that they are focusing on Swadeshi supply chain, make sure that they are focusing on having talent development programs. Similarly, in this program also, in this target segment of developing Indian brand, we are very particular that the design has to be your own design. It cannot just be a copycat. It has to be your own design. Then only will approve it under the MPMS scheme. We are very particular on that. We are very rigid on that. We don't want to show any flexibility on that. So we see at this point of time 3 potential players. I cannot take the names. Obviously, I should not take the names because there are stock markets, there are other considerations. So that's why we always refrain from taking names of the companies. And that's a healthy practice. So we see three potential players who have the potential of coming up in a time frame of, let's say, about 10 to 14 months from now, which means somewhere in the middle of next year, we should see a good Indian brand coming out in the market. The uh, non-tariff or rather the other methods that we have to implement will all be implemented in consultation with the industry. That is not as important as having the Indian design. Most important point is having Indian design.
Ravi sir,
No more questions on this. I cannot answer beyond this.
Sir.
Sir, Sir Ankit this side. Sir, we are second in manufacturing the mobile phones and we are the second users in the world. But still there is no second company when in the list of India. कोई दूसरी कंपनी नहीं है जो दूसरे नंबर पे भी नहीं है जो इंडियन कंपनी हो. We always see Apple, Samsung, Vivo, Oppo.
वही तो इसीलिए तो इंडियन कंपनी के लिए रखा ना यार.
But sir, that is
That's why we have put this provision, no?
Yes, sir. And also in manufacturing itself, exports we are at number one. The smartphones are at the number one. But still we are exporting the international brands only. तो ये दो challenges को कैसे overcome करेंगे?
International brand में जो product के अंदर whatever components are there, those components are Indian components. Correct? So brand is one, but within that the components are Indian components. Last year we started exporting components even to China. Do you see that point? So that's a very big jump from where we were 10 years ago. We have to see where we were 10 years ago and where we have reached now. So this is a journey, and this journey is just begun, is what I'm saying. And this journey is going to have huge benefits for the country, especially for the younger generation, because the youth will get new employment opportunities, new design opportunities, new market participation opportunities, many more opportunities will come for the younger generation. Does that answer your question?
Sir, hi. I was just going through this, just skimmed through it. On the sales every year that the companies have to report, just to sort of take Ashmit's question forward, is it just domestic sales or also the sales that are made on exported smartphones? And if that is covered, would the WTO have a view on that?
Total sales, and as I replied to Ashmit, make more in India. Make as much manufacturing, do as much manufacturing in India, so that our people get the benefit of employment opportunities. Our MSMEs get the benefit of manufacturing components. Our logistics supply chain partners, they get the benefit of the supply chain. Our material manufacturers, they get the benefit of manufacturing materials for the components. This battery that you see here, in this battery has electrolyte, now that is getting manufactured in India. There is anode material that is getting manufactured in India. The cathode manufacturing that is now started happening in India. So that's a long way from where we began, but this is just a beginning is what I'm saying. This is just a beginning. Getting to this level means now we can really grow at a sustained pace. And that is what the next phase is going to be. All right, friends, all the best.
sir, కొట్టేయాలా? కొట్టేసిన